Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Coming back to the NGOs, I give the floor to Sikh Human Rights Group. Thank you, Madam Chair. The Sikh Human Rights Group would like to comment on the question of how can we reframe the relationship between climate cooperation and development cooperation without one replacing the other completely. Historically, development cooperation has had two main components: humanitarian assistance and development aid. Although the political profile of climate change has substantially increased in recent years, climate change is now recognized as an environmental and development problem that has a disproportionate impact on the poorest nations whose economies are primarily based on natural resources and related economic sectors. We lack a conceptual understanding of climate cooperation as a new form of cooperation between countries. Climate change should push us to rethink the relationship between humanitarian cooperation and development cooperation, because the traditional distinction between these seems obsolete in light of Agenda 2030 and the SDGs. There is an undeniable relationship between climate cooperation and development cooperation. There is no economy, no kind of development, and there are no human beings on a planet which will be ever more racked by excessive heat waves and floods and forest fires. The planet will be dead. Climate change poses a threat to the very foundations of sustainable development, and this is something we have to tackle when we rethink climate cooperation and development cooperation and how they interact. When we speak of climate cooperation, the first thing that comes to mind is mitigation and adaptation, with the primary goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and preserving biodiversity and ecosystems. To this end, we are adopting urgent measures to combat climate change and its effects, that's SDG 13, as we are on the brink of a climate calamity. We have a multilateral system with a central role played by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This should serve to coordinate our efforts for reducing carbon emissions and transitioning towards renewable energies and protecting our natural environments. But we need more financing, more exchange of knowledge, more partnerships, more solidarity, and more action in order to be successful. Moreover, development cooperation has changed a lot in recent decades. It has gone from being a mere form of development aid provided by the former colonial powers to an ever more complex network of relationships, which includes triangular partnerships, South-South partnerships, public and private partnerships, and so on. Its mission is to combat poverty and inequality and to promote economic growth, not just between countries, but also within countries. Although development cooperation continues to be an important form of cooperation between nations, it cannot replace climate cooperation because of the very specific nature of the latter. We need both development cooperation and climate cooperation. Thank you very much. We will now move on